A stupid man confuses emotion with power. He believes that how he feels in a moment is justification enough for action. If he is angry, he lashes out. If he is hurt, he seeks revenge. If he feels disrespected, he tries to prove himself through force or noise. His emotions are not tools, they are masters, and because he is ruled by them, he is easily controlled. Anyone who knows how to push the right buttons can make him dance, destroy himself, or expose his weaknesses. He becomes a predictable puppet, convinced he is acting with strength, when in reality, he's being manipulated like a child. The man who acts from emotion believes that his internal chaos is a sign of passion or authenticity. He thinks exploding in anger means he's strong. He thinks chasing revenge means he has pride. But he cannot see that every emotional reaction is a leash wrapped around his neck. The world tugs and he moves. His pride is not power, it's vulnerability disguised as strength. He is fragile, reactive, and exposed. Power does not belong to the one who feels the most. It belongs to the one who can feel everything and still do only what is necessary. A man ruled by emotion confuses noise with presence. He wants to be heard, not respected. He wants to be understood, not calculated. He believes his pain is unique and therefore should be honored, not controlled. But in doing so, he becomes a slave to impulse. He burns alliances, speaks recklessly, makes promises he can't keep, and digs holes he cannot climb out of. He confuses reaction with response, fire with force, and pride with principle. People fear his volatility, not his intelligence, and deep down, he fears silence because it demands discipline. Emotion without control is not power, it is self-destruction in slow motion. The stupid man doesn't see it because he thinks volume equals dominance. A stupid man speaks more than he thinks. His mouth moves faster than his mind, and in his need to be heard, he exposes himself. He talks to impress, to fill silence, to prove he knows something, even when he doesn't. He mistakes volume for influence and believes that having the last word means having control. He's more concerned with being loud than being right. He doesn't understand that real power often comes from restraint. The more he speaks, the more he reveals. His opinions, his insecurities, his ambitions, his fears, all laid out carelessly for others to observe, dissect, and use against him. He gives away his strategy without even realizing he's doing it. A stupid man doesn't recognize the value of silence. He thinks that being quiet makes him invisible, weak, or irrelevant. But silence is not weakness, it's calculation, it's observation. It's listening not to reply, but to understand the landscape, to read people, to detect lies, to uncover motives. A man who speaks too much misses everything happening between the words. He's so busy trying to dominate the conversation that he fails to see who's really in control. The wise are patient. They study before they speak. Every sentence is deliberate. Every word has weight. But the stupid man floods the room with empty speech, trying to mask his insecurity with noise. He thinks conversation is about attention, not influence. He forgets that words once spoken cannot be taken back. He promises what he can't deliver, insults without reason, reveals his intentions before the battle even begins. He walks into negotiations already exposed, having spoken so much that there's nothing left to protect. He confuses talking with doing, opinion with action. People learn quickly that he lacks discipline, that he's easily provoked, that his ego is louder than his judgment. He doesn't understand that the more he explains himself, the less power he holds. In his attempt to seem wise, he shows his ignorance. In his hunger to be respected, he loses all control of how he is perceived. A stupid man trusts too easily. He assumes that others think like he does, value what he values, and act from the same principles. He believes in words over patterns, promises over proof. He takes people at face value, judging character from charm, loyalty from familiarity, and honesty from tone. He hands over trust like it's nothing, thinking that decency is the default in others simply because it's the standard he tries to hold for himself. This blindness is not kindness. It is weakness disguised as virtue. It is the refusal to see the world as it is, preferring instead to live in a fantasy where intention matters more than incentive. He forgets that people move based on benefit, that friendship bends under pressure, that loyalty fades when fear or profit enters the equation. He is shocked when betrayal comes, but the signs were always there. He just chose to ignore them. He trusted because it was easier than watching closely. He believed because it was more comfortable than questioning, and in doing so, he made himself predictable, vulnerable, and dependent on people who had no reason to protect him. He never asked who benefits, who gains, who waits for him to let his guard down. He never understood that the mask people wear when they need something is not the face they keep when they have it. A stupid man sees trust as a moral obligation. A wise man sees it as a calculated risk. Trust, when given freely, becomes a liability. It invites manipulation. It signals desperation. It says, I need connection more than I need control. The stupid man believes that being open builds stronger bonds, but what he really builds is a blueprint for his own downfall. He shares too much, listens too little, and forgets that every person is capable of deception when the right opportunity arises. He makes no distinction between history and pattern, between kind gestures and consistent behavior. He trusts words spoken in comfort, not actions taken under pressure. He believes that good intentions guarantee good outcomes, never realizing that in the real world, power respects caution more than hope. A stupid man seeks validation more than he seeks strategy. He wants to be seen, heard, liked, and approved of. His energy is spent chasing applause rather than building leverage. Every move he makes is rooted in how it will be perceived, not in whether it brings him closer to control. He will abandon logic for attention, trade respect for popularity, and compromise power just to avoid being disliked. He aligns with crowds to feel accepted, not realizing that the crowd offers warmth but never protection. He needs others to affirm him because he cannot stand in silence and be unmoved by disapproval. His identity is stitched together by the opinions of those who do not matter. He constantly looks outward for confirmation of worth. He dresses for reaction, speaks for applause, posts for praise. He is a performer in a world that respects tacticians. While he's busy chasing followers, someone else is quietly building empires. His obsession with being liked blinds him to the truth. Influence is rarely won through approval. It is earned through consequence. Those who are feared, respected, and impossible to ignore did not get there by being agreeable. They got there by being unshakable. The stupid man confuses popularity with influence. He believes attention is the same as power, but he doesn't see that being seen is not the same as being followed. He tailors his opinions to the room he's in. He changes his stance to fit the mood of others. He is a chameleon with no core, and because of that, no one truly trusts him. He avoids confrontation to stay likable, not understanding that most leaders are forged through hard lines, not soft words. He would rather be praised in the moment than feared in the long term. He does not build strategy because strategy requires patience, discipline, and silence. Validation requires none of those things. It requires only noise, obedience, and need. He walks through life performing for approval, blind to the fact that those who crave applause will always be controlled by those who choose when to clap. A stupid man fears pain and avoids discomfort at all costs. He is driven by ease, by comfort, by the illusion that life should be smooth if he is doing it right. The moment something becomes hard, he pulls back. When his body aches, he rests. When his mind is challenged, he distracts himself. He believes struggle is a sign to stop, not a signal to grow. He cannot endure pressure, cannot sit in silence, cannot tolerate the slow grind that real transformation demands. He trades long-term strength for short-term relief every time, and in doing so he stays weak. Pain is information, discomfort is a test, but the stupid man sees both as threats. He looks for shortcuts, easy wins, fast tracks. He wants results without process. He wants the title without the scars. The very moment the process begins to demand more than he expected, he calls it unfair, too much, not worth it. He views obstacles as walls instead of doors. He doesn't understand that anything worth having will try to break you before it builds you. He fears the fire instead of walking through it and letting it reshape him into something unrecognizable. When challenges appear, he blames others. When results don't come quickly, he blames the method. He cannot sit still in pain long enough to let it teach him. He wants everything now. He believes the world owes him comfort for effort, but comfort is the enemy of growth. It dulls the blade, softens the edge, and blinds the mind. The stupid man lives for comfort, not realizing it's the cage that keeps him average. He repeats easy routines because they feel safe. He avoids difficult conversations, disciplines, decisions, anything that threatens the image he has of himself as capable without cost. He worships the idea of potential, but refuses the suffering required to realize it. He wants power but flees the forge. He wants to be respected but never wants to bleed for it. He views pain as punishment rather than preparation. He never learns that discomfort is the birthplace of dominance, because he's never willing to stay there long enough to find out what's waiting on the other side. The difference between a powerful man and a stupid one is not intelligence, luck, or talent. It's awareness, discipline, and brutal self-honesty. A stupid man lives ruled by emotion, addicted to noise, blind in trust, desperate for approval, and allergic to pain. He reacts instead of plans, talks instead of listens, seeks comfort instead of strength, and builds his identity on fragile illusions. He believes he is already enough, and that belief is what keeps him weak. Power is not found in how loudly you move through the world, but in how ruthlessly you study it, how precisely you move within it, and how relentlessly you shape yourself in the shadows. The man who becomes dangerous is the one who sees these 6 traps and chooses discipline over instinct, silence over noise, strategy over emotion, solitude over validation, resilience over ease, and evolution over pride. Because in a world built to reward obedience and mediocrity, the man who masters himself becomes a threat.